Are you ready for this?
For mature audiences only.
And now, the Commander-in-Chief is back. Freedom Friday with Carl Gallups, the Oval Office of Gulf Coast Talk Radio.
All right, welcome back, Gulf Coast. Welcome back, America. Come on into the Oval Office. And Brandon, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, good. I just pushed 3 buttons and realized I may have cut you off. So that's why there's a little panic in my voice. Brandon, are you there? And you're there. Good. Okay. Well, Brandon, let's jump back in this. We want to finish this up, and then we want to move into this topic that's been in the news this week. Big name people are talking civil war in the United States. Folks, hang on. We'll put all that in context in a moment. But connected to that is this shooting by the leftist liberal loon, this terrorist attack, this hate crime. I'm using the terms of the left. Now, they didn't put it on this guy, Brandon, but if it was me that went down there and did that, or some Tea Party member, it would have been called a terrorist attack and a hate crime. But a lefty...
Oh, no, yeah, it absolutely would have been.
Yeah, but a lefty loon does it, and it's like, oh, the poor soul, he was troubled, and and there were even commentators on major media. I think it was MSNBC. I apologize if it wasn't, or CNN. Gosh, it was in the news. There's just so much stuff I can't remember it all. But some commentator literally suggested that Steve Scalise brought this upon himself because, after all, he's a homophobe and a racist. That's what the dude said. Okay, so it's okay. I mean, if you're something we don't like, you bring it on yourself to be shot down at a ball field. This is the way. And so, it's hypocrisy after hypocrisy rolling out of this. And now the headlines of freebeacon.com a couple days ago: Congress pushes bill to let lawmakers carry concealed weapons anywhere in the U.S. And you and I've both said, what hypocrisy? What stupidity? I mean, of course we want our congressmen to carry a weapon anywhere in the United States, but we have the same right. They don't need a law.
Right.
They don't need a bill. Right. They've already got it. It's the Second Amendment. But the problem is, Brandon, their hypocrisy is that most of them with D's by their name, but even a lot with R's by their name through the years, have worked so hard to take away our rights to carry that now they find themselves in a box because now they're being shot down like dogs. Now their families are being threatened. Now they've got people of their ilk in the hospital struggling for their lives because of some late crazed lunatic. And here's the fact of the matter, Brandon. So you've got a terrorist with several assault weapons, one of them being an assault rifle. I think it was an AKS. You've got that going on. He's loading and unloading. I mean, he's unloading, and then pops that clip out, puts another clip in with a pistol and a rifle, spraying shells everywhere. I mean, it's a massacre in the making, an absolute mayhem massacre. But watch, the dude is stopped and killed by 2 people with pistols.
Good guys with guns.
Good guys with guns saved the day. I hate it for
they always?
Yeah, and one of the good guys gets shot in the leg. And I think it was the female officer. And these guys happen to be security people assigned to Representative Scalise. And so now watch, Brandon. So you got 2 good guys with guns that stop the killing of perhaps dozens of people, because that's what the guy went to do. And then Congress runs back and says, we need guns, we want to carry anywhere in the United States. And of course the hypocrisy of it is, and what they really mean to say is, but we don't want you to be able to do that. See.
So if we follow that logic, then all school teachers should be allowed to carry guns from elementary schools on up.
Now stop right there, Brandon. Stop right there.
Yep.
Because you've raised a brilliant point. It's so brilliant that I have not thought of it.
Wow. Man, better.
Brilliant point. Okay, think of all the school shootings, Columbine, etc. Just go right on down. Scores of people through all of these school shootings through the last several decades, teachers, students, allegedly children, and one congressman is shot. Now, I'm not making light of Steve Scalise's life or his wounds. I am not disparaging. I'm not mocking. I'm saying one congressman. And now they're ready to pass a law that they can carry guns anywhere they want. Why? Because we're targeted. Well, sir, so are our children. So are our teachers. So are our public schools. Our schools, private schools, have had this happen as well. So are our schools and school administrators. Well, how can you say that? The evidence is in the books, Brandon. Scores of people over the last several decades have come under this assault, and many of them have died. But how come they can't carry, but congressmen think they are a special class of U.S. citizens?
No, absolutely. And listen, let's continue with their logic. So not only should all school teachers be allowed to carry and be armed immediately, all movie theater employees should be allowed to carry in the movie theater at their jobs immediately. I mean, after all, Congress wants to carry on the job.
Right. Anywhere in the United States.
Anywhere they want to.
And why do they want to carry? Because they feel threatened.
Protection. For protection. Churches, church members, pastors. There are states that do not allow concealed carry and carry of firearms in churches. Churches have been a target, so all pastors, all church members should immediately be allowed to carry firearms in and out of their churches and congregations. You see where I'm going?
I know two pastors that carry all the time, and you know the same too.
Well, I know more than two. I mean, I'm very good friends with a pastor who is a deputy, and in a state that has yes, he is a pastor and he's a lay pastor and a full-time deputy, and he in a state that has open carry, and he preaches with his badge and his gun on his side, displays it openly, and tells his congregation every Sunday morning before he gets ready to take his jacket off, he says, for anyone that's visiting, you're getting ready to see a firearm, I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean...
yeah, and of course, you're a pastor and you carry, I'm a pastor and I carry, and those are the two pastors I was talking about, but I know there are scores and scores and scores of pastors.
But the bottom line is, we don't need a law that says Congress can carry weapons anywhere they want to.
Exactly. And shame on this Republican congressman, Brian Babin out of Texas, that introduced the law. Shame on him. He should have got up and said, look, Second Amendment says we can carry. Everybody start carrying.
Yep. No, that is exactly right. So, hey, listen, I'll make one more analogy. According to this logic, the citizens of Chicago should be issued firearms by the federal government.
Like cell phones.
Because dozens of people are shot there, not killed. I said shot there on a daily basis. They should be issued. Yeah. Instead of the Obama phone, we should have had Obama guns issued to the citizens of Chicago to protect themselves.
Right.
I mean, that's the hypocrisy. You've got Chicago, a gun-free zone, with the highest crime rate, murder rate in the country, highest gun violence in the country. It's compared to cities in Mexico, third world countries, because of the crime rate. And they say, no guns, but one lawmaker is shot, and now everybody, all lawmakers should be allowed to carry a gun anywhere they want to.
And two people with pistols, two good guys with guns, brought down a terrorist loading and unloading an assault rifle and an assault pistol.
And that's just the thing. Where do these shootings always happen?
Yeah.
In places where the bad guys know that there are no good guys with guns.
Right. Or at least they hope
or
so.
At least not the majority of. Schools. Yeah. They know that at best there is one uniformed officer with a firearm in a school.
At best. Yeah.
Churches. The church shooting in South Carolina. South Carolina, you're not allowed to carry firearms in a church. By the state law. On and on. Why do they pick these places? Well, because it's an easy target.
Yeah, and that dude in South Carolina, he unloaded his .45 into the parishioners, dropped the clip, shoved another clip in, reloaded, and fired again. Loaded, unloaded, loaded, unloaded. And not a single person in that church. All it would take would be one person with a weapon who fired back, and the guy would have run out screaming like a little girl.
Or been dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah. Yeah, so listen, I mean, again, we've covered all the angles of this, but bottom line, yes, Congress carry a gun anywhere you want to. Listen, do like our president says he wants done and give us a national concealed carry permit. Yeah. I would be fine with that. And listen, I don't think we ought to have it. I think I should be able to travel this country freely with a firearm anywhere I want to go.
You can, not have to, according to the Second Amendment. It's just the idiot liberal leftists that have unconstitutionally restricted your right to do that.
Yeah, but at least give those of us who have state-issued concealed carry permits the right to then carry that gun anywhere and not have to worry about if I go into the state of Illinois, I'm committing a felony.
Right.
All of a sudden.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, and even that, listen, I wish I didn't have to make that, you know, say I'll stay, you know, I would live with that. But bottom line is, let's just go with what the Founding Fathers said.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And so I'm looking at this article, and it says, quote, the legislation would enable certified members of Congress to carry a concealed weapon in nearly every conceivable scenario, according to the information released by Congressman Babin's office. You know, Brandon, so here's the deal. Carl Gallups and his family visiting Washington, D.C., one of the highest crime rates in the nation, strictest gun control laws in the nation, just like Chicago. Carl Gallups and his family are not as valuable as the congressmen and their families in Washington, D.C. Because Carl Gallups and his family, never mind that I was a cop for 10 years in 2 different sheriff's offices and have been carrying concealed now for 45 years. Never mind that. Never mind I taught firearms instruction in the Florida Police Academy. Never mind my expertise. I'm not allowed to carry a firearm because I'm not as valuable as a congressman and his family in Washington, D.C. Where is the sense entered by this congressman introducing this?
And listen, I am too, but let's make this point. Why would we be surprised? After all, these are the same people that inflicted Obamacare upon the country and then said, well, that applies to everybody.
But except for us. We don't have to have Obamacare.
Because we don't want to have to endure rising premiums and horrible health care and I'm healthy, but yet I have to pay for a sick person.
And I can't keep my doctor, and
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it applies to everybody in the country except for us. It's the same principle. It's the elitist mindset. You know, listen, this country was founded by men who would go to Washington and serve the country for 4 years, a period of 2 years, 4 years, whatever it was, and then they would go home and they would go back and work the family farm or work in the family store or go back to their regular job. Most of these men and women up there now have never had a job in their life. And the ones that have and that try to enact some common sense, like Rand Paul, a medical doctor who has a medical practice, constantly called an idiot and a lunatic and a nut job.
Yep, because the career politicians, and that's why they hate Donald Trump. Listen, there are people with R beside their name, people who claim to be conservative, who hate Donald Trump because he's not one of them.
Why would we not listen to everything Rand Paul has to say about health care in this country? He is a licensed, practicing medical doctor. Why would we not listen to everything he has to say? Instead, we sideline him and say, well, he's just some right-wing, you know, libertarian lunatic.
Right.
No, he's a licensed medical doctor. He understands what works and what doesn't.
Right. Wasn't his father a doctor as well? Ron Paul?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yes. Rand Paul. Yeah. So the whole medical family, but they're, you know, nobody wants to listen to them. And that's the thing. So you've got Congress, and see, this headline, bro, I'm telling you, we need to move on. But the thing is, it gives away their heart, man. Number one, they don't even know that they already have a law. It's called the Second Amendment. Number two, if they do know it, they're trying to work around it by saying, no, that doesn't give you guys the right, but we want a special right, so we need a special law. I mean, that angers me. Then you've got this thing of the Congress basically saying our lives are invaluable. But Carl Gallups and his family, and then folks, fill in your names. Listeners, fill in your names. And your family visiting Washington, D.C., you're not as valuable as we are. And by the way, we don't want to just carry in D.C. We want to carry anywhere in the United States, anywhere. And we need a special law. And what I'm screaming, what Brandon's screaming is, we've already got the law. It's called Second Amendment.
And it was put in place by the founders' own words to protect us from Congress.
Yeah. And so, yeah, exactly, from these kinds of idiots. All right. Well, let's take this time out. Let's talk about what people are talking about Civil War, and then we'll wrap it up with some biblical connections, maybe even get to the NASA story again and make some biblical connections there. I don't know. We're running out of time, Brendan. If you didn't talk so much, man, we'd have more time.
We'd be okay, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we would be. You need to be more like me, just a man of a few words.
I'll do my best.
Okay, good deal. Brandon, thank you so much. I'm going to put you on hold, my man, because you're coming right back. And folks, we're going to put you on hold for a moment, but don't go anywhere. You listen to these announcements and advertisements and all of these people that we're going to take up the offering right now is what we're doing. Say, I'm preaching a little bit. Brandon's been preaching. Now we're going to ask the ushers to come forward. We're going to take up the offering, and then we'll be right back with some more good preaching. Don't you go anywhere. Oval Office, Gulf Coast Talk Radio, Freedom Friday, Carl Gallups.